Rafe, good to see you. Always good to see you, to be honest with you. I've read this story and I thought it's April 1st. Every day is April 1st. They have seriously sent an email round offering support, mental health support, for council workers who are triggered by the flag of our country. Can you make that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, what sort of a snowflake society have we become, if people really are genuinely unsettled and afraid? You have to laugh about this. It's the national flag of our country. I mean, my gosh, what they do during last night or the proms, I can't imagine. They must be going straight to their therapist the next day after seeing that. Why didn't we see statements like this issued for the Jewish community regarding the flying of Palestinian flags from lampposts and at the pro-Palestine marches across the country? We live in an era of identity politics now where everybody is encouraged to celebrate their identity, be it their nationality, their ethnicity, their sexual orientation. But there's one exception, and that's the English. The English alone aren't allowed to celebrate their identity. Even within this island, the Scots and the Welsh rejoice in their identity. They're always wrapping themselves in their national flags, quite rightly. But when they do so, it's called progressive nationalism and it's seen as being inclusive. When the English do it, it's racist and it's somehow exclusive. And it's just part of this long war against England. You see it through the long march of the institutions. That's what we're seeing here from this council's statement being put out. The people that run these institutions, it's almost as if they have a loathing for England and that they're afraid of English nationalism, because I think they understand that England is the dominant partner in the Union. And they want to suppress that. I mean, when we left the European Union at London City Hall, they removed the European Union flag and there was no English flag flying, even though London is the capital of England. So I suggested that they fly the English flag, as you find in Edinburgh and Cardiff and Belfast with their flags. They rejected that outright. Sadiq Khan refused London cabbies from flying the English flag from taxis. Ken Livingstone refused funding for a St George's Day parade, saying it was xenophobic and divisive, whilst he gave money to a St Patrick's Day parade. That's the reality, and the English have had enough of it.
I just really read you this note, right? This is from the Newsagents podcast. I think it's out this week. And they're saying, if you're angry about England flags, well, if you use the England flag, you are doing the far right's work. That's what they say in this podcast. You're only flying the flag to try and get a reaction. And in some cases, you're doing it to intimidate. You want to send a message of cultural aggression. If you are flying the cross of St George, or indeed the Union flag, the same applies. Why are they saying that? It's our flag. What's wrong with being proud of our flags?
This is not an act of aggression. This is an act of a community that feels threatened. The Scots and the Welsh and the Irish became patriotic because they felt oppressed, rightly or wrongly, by the English. That's why they flew their flags. That's why the people of Eastern Europe flew their flags. They felt oppressed by the Soviet Union. In England now, the English feel oppressed. They see their history being denigrated, being derided. Everything that's bad about Britain is somehow England's fault. And all they see are minority cultures being elevated over the predominant English British culture. And it's got to the point now where they see their towns and their cities completely changing beyond all recognition from the towns they grew up in because of mass immigration. And that sticks in the craw. And so they are essentially flying their flags as a sign of distress. They've been failed by the institutions, failed and betrayed by their politicians. They're told by the media, by universities and schools that being English is racist, that they're born into white privilege. And so they seem that there's no last resort from them except from flying the flag. It's almost the last stand. What else can we do? There's no one else who can stand up for the English, so we have to do it ourselves. I remember G.K. Chesterton, who famously said, "For we are the people of England that have not spoken yet." Well, the English have now found their voice, and you're seeing that in the Union Jacks and the flags of St George that are flying across this land. And don't let anyone tell you that the English flag is racist or a symbol of the far right. The English flag flies across English country churches right across this land. There's nothing more peaceful and innocent and beautiful than the English flag in the English countryside.